The day Venom killed all the Avengers, including Hulk and Thor. I'm Andrew the Geek Master, and in this video, we're going to talk about how a version of Venom killed each of the Avengers. To make sure you don't miss out on intense stories like this, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's get started. The story begins with Bruce Banner investigating the body of Captain America, who was brutally murdered on the Avengers ship. Banner knows what it means to be a monster, but even the Hulk couldn't do something like this. Cap was torn apart. His insides are now on the outside. The heart of America has literally disappeared, and Bruce Banner has no idea who is responsible. Hawkeye and Black Widow were the first to see Cap's body and immediately called Banner. Banner and Natasha know the ship landed about an hour ago, and Steve's body also seems to have been dead for that long. Banner deduces the complex was breached, but he has another theory he's keeping to himself for now. Either way, he needs to check the cameras. When they review the footage, it's revealed that Steve had just returned from the Arctic. According to Clint, he liked visiting that place, thinking of it as his grave, and with each visit, Cap gained more perspective. That place reminded him to live better. However, in the recordings, Steve is seen leaving the ship and then collapsing dead on the ground. No one else exits the vehicle. Banner notes that the person who found the body was Natasha and asks why she went to the ship. Natasha doesn't like Banner's tone, implying she might be responsible for Cap's death. This angers her so much that she grabs Banner by the clothes, asserting that if she wanted to kill any of them, they would never find their bodies. Not to mention, brutal murders are more the Hulk's style. Clint steps in, recognizing the tension but reminding everyone to stay calm. Now isn't the time to turn on each other. Natasha then reveals she went to look for Cap because they had planned to train together, and Banner apologizes for starting the argument. Now, they need to inform the other Avengers about what happened. First, they look for Tony, who said he'd be in the lab all night. And indeed, they find Tony in his suit and begin to explain what happened, until suddenly, Banner notices blood dripping from Stark's armor. Banner tries to talk to Tony, but Tony doesn't respond. So Banner communicates with Jarvis, and since he has long-held authorization granted by Tony, he asks Jarvis to deactivate the suit. When the armor opens, it's revealed that Tony is already dead, and in fact, his body is almost completely gone, devoured with brutal force. This leaves the heroes even more shaken, with Clint even vomiting at the sight. Still, Banner knows the investigation must continue. He asks Jarvis to play Tony's last interaction before being killed, and when the audio recording begins, it suggests Tony was working until someone appeared, and he asked if that person wanted upgrades for their hammer. This was enough evidence, though none of those present wanted to believe it. But who else could take down two of Earth's mightiest heroes if not a god? With that, Bruce turns into the Hulk, and along with Hawkeye and Black Widow, they head to where Thor was. But when they arrive, they only find Thor's remains, just like what happened to Tony. The Hulk is someone who could punch any monster in the face, but he recognized that Banner was better prepared for this job. When the Hulk leaves, Bruce Banner returns, understanding that the threat had to be pathogenic or parasitic. His brain panicked, so he couldn't piece the clues together immediately. The problem is that Clint had his own suspicions. He raised his bow with an adamantium arrow and pointed it at Banner. Clint knows it wasn't him, and Natasha couldn't kill gods. Only the Hulk could have done these things. Banner assures him he's not responsible, explaining that the three Avengers were killed from the inside out. He now understands that what pierced Tony's armor was something microscopic, and what killed Thor was something invisible. Hawkeye doesn't understand what Banner is saying, but Natasha does. At that moment, Black Widow doesn't hesitate and fires 2 shots into Clint's head, killing him instantly. Bruce Banner immediately turns into the Hulk and pleads with Natasha to fight whatever is inside her, but in an instant, the parasite emerges and infiltrates the Hulk's body. In this way, Banner can see what really happened. While Steve was in the Arctic, a meteor struck the ice near where he was, and Cap went to check it out. Unfortunately, that was when the symbiote infected him. But Steve Rogers proved to be an incompatible host, resisting just enough for the symbiote to consume him, abandon him, and choose someone more familiar with the darkness within. So when Natasha approached Steve's body, the symbiote transferred to her. As the symbiote fed and grew stronger, it realized it needed someone much more powerful. That's why it consumed Iron Man and Thor, until it realized its ideal home had to be Bruce Banner, a man who knew how to keep a monster under control. And that's how Venom killed all the Avengers. I hope you enjoyed this tale and invite you to leave your thoughts in the comments about this version of Venom. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next stories we're preparing for you. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next adventure.